The Live for Thomas Foundation was established in memory of 16-year-old Thomas Ocasio III, who took his own life after losing his battle with depression. Friends and family members said, "We never thought it would be him." But mental health doesn't discriminate. The Live for Thomas Foundation has made it their mission to change the face of suicide and the narrative around it. Join us in the next 30 minutes as we hear about all their efforts on how they're helping our community members in both Harford and Cecil County. I'm Christy Breslin, and this is Harford MagaScene. I'm now joined with Dr. Amy Ocasio, and she is here to talk about the Live for Thomas Foundation. Now, this could be a very sensitive subject for many people because suicide is not something that is easy to talk about. But Amy has made it her purpose to help others, to help them and their families avoid the pain that her and her family have had to go through. Amy, thank you so much for being with us.
No, thank you for having us.
As Thomas's mom, what do you want people to know about him? Tell us about who he really was.
So, for the sake of TV, I will say Thomas had some sass to him. But he was one of those kids that he just lit up the room. You knew he was there. It was just the type of personality he had. After he died, people talked about like his contagious smile and just the joy he brought. He was an athlete. He played baseball and football. He was an honor student. He was approved to graduate early to enlist in the U.S. Army, which had been like his lifelong dream. Lots of friends. I tell people that I am biased as his mom, but he was a good-looking kid. So he was the kind of kid that like doesn't fit the stereotype of what we're accustomed to of somebody that would die by suicide. But he really much just he had a heart for people and was just so caring and gave so much of himself. And yeah.
So what made you decide that you wanted to start the Live for Thomas Foundation?
I don't even think it was a thought. It was just kind of, this is what we're going to do. So he passed on July 28th of 2019, and then his service was August 1st that year. And almost immediately we went right into, we had a billboard up that first September, which is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And it's also his birth month. His birthday is September 29th. So we put a billboard up, like his face, suicide prevention, all of that. And then we just continued from there. And so in 2020, we, filed the paperwork to become a nonprofit. And we just haven't stopped.
Not only does this impact you, but it impacts your entire family. So how has this really impacted your journey with opening Live for Thomas?
One, I would say through just being able to keep his memory alive. We're not going to forget him. And so just being able to share him with everybody and say, like, he's not a number, he's not a statistic. Like Thomas was here, Thomas is real, and being able to just take who he was and turn it into something to be able to help other people. Because again, like that was at the heart of who he was. So it's really just tying in so many pieces. And then the stories we hear back, now we know we're not going to hear all the impact of, what this is, but the ones that we do hear, it makes such a difference. And, yes, I would love to have my son back. I would give all this up in a heartbeat if I could have my son back. But the reality is I'm not going to, so this is the next best thing. Like, we are saving lives. We are helping people. We are getting it out there. And we're just going to continue to do that.
Tell me more about the mission of the Live for Thomas Foundation and, more importantly, the kind of support and services that you provide.
So the mission is kind of like threefold. So one is changing the face of suicide, really highlighting that anybody can be at risk. And that goes back to people telling us, I never thought it would be him. Like, it was not on people's radar that Thomas would be somebody who died by suicide. And I feel like historically we're just taught you look very much for the isolated individual, maybe one who doesn't have friends, maybe one who is outwardly, you can tell they're depressed. Absolutely, you want to keep an eye on them. And you want to keep an eye on the Thomases. In the 6.5 years since we've lost him, every survivor that we've met, their loved one was like a Thomas. And so it's life of the party, smiling and everything. And so again, anybody can be at risk. And we don't say this to like make people uncomfortable. We just want people to be aware that even though somebody might be smiling, there could be something going on that you don't know. We want to change the narrative around what it means to be strong. A lot of times it's, oh, you're so strong, you can handle this. Or, for young men, it's, suck it up, men don't cry, things like that. For us, it's absolutely not. Strength is being vulnerable. It's being able to ask for help. It's being able to show emotions and all of those things. So we want to change that where people don't feel like, oh, I have to be strong by shoving it all down and not being able to tell somebody what's happening. And then the third is really just breaking the stigma around mental health struggles, mental illness, suicide, and we just incorporate that into all of it.
Well, that's really how you bring the mission to life in your role as the president, right?
Yes. So a big part of my role is making sure we're implementing programs, securing grant funding, because, well, as a nonprofit, we're not bringing in money in a way that, if we were a for-profit. So we want to make sure, we're getting grant funding. We do donations and fundraisers and all these things. So that's a big part of what I do. Going back to programs, making sure we implement programming. So we have our Den 22 program, which you guys are going to hear from Danielle in a little bit. We do our mental health awareness talks, which Kelly is going to speak to. And then we also do speaking engagements like this. We present in schools. We've presented to professionals. We've presented to school personnel. We say we will talk anytime, anywhere to anybody. It just, again, it's what we do. We do community outreach events. We implemented the power of expression in all 5 high schools, which is facilitated by the El Foundation. And then we had such positive feedback from it that it now is annual. All incoming freshman classes, we put on the power of expression through the schools. Then we implemented the first Hope Squad and Junior Hope Squad in the state of Maryland. As far as I know, there are no other ones in the state of Maryland yet. And Hope Squad is a peer-to-peer in-school suicide prevention program. It started out in Utah. I believe there were 44 other states before Maryland came on board. And so we now have it in 2 high schools, 2 elementary schools. We brought on in a middle school. And then kind of over the next couple years, the plan is to just keep adding Hope Squads. We do faith-based mental health summits. We've done coaches conferences, support groups. It's kind of one of those things like, if it can be done, we're going to do it, because you touch people different ways. And so just maybe a support group isn't what somebody needs, but maybe just talking one-on-one to somebody.
Now, of course, we have to talk about funding because we need the funding to keep all these programs going. So where do you get the funding from?
So we are primarily grant funded. We do donate, we will accept donations, and we do fundraisers, but the bulk of our funding is grant funding, and that could be local grants, state grants. One of them we have that supports the Den 22 program. It's funded through the Blueprint for Maryland's Future through the Maryland Consortium on Coordinated Community Supports Program. And that is what allowed us to be able to open the Den 22 program, bring staff on, get people trained, and continue to offer that service for free.
What are some of the signs or maybe realities that parents need to look for if maybe their child is struggling?
I would say as a parent, and I've shared this when anytime that I get to talk to parents, is one, a lot of times you'll hear, but my child would tell me, and I hope they do. I hope your child really comes and tells you. Oftentimes they may not. Thomas was a mama's boy. Like, I tell people, I know stuff about that boy that most parents probably don't want to know about their kids. And we were close. I knew just about everything except this piece of it. And I always would have thought that he would have told me because we talked about so many other things, and he didn't. So I think it kind of then created this false, maybe, sense of security that I think parents do as well. I knew he was going through some things. I didn't realize it was to this point, but it was always like, but if he's home with me, he's safe. Like, I don't have anything to worry about. And unfortunately, that wasn't the case. I was home when he took his own life. So I think the two biggest things is for parents to recognize that even with the best of intentions, and we feel like our child is going to come to us, or we're so close with our child, or if we're home with them that we're going to be able to keep them safe, that's not always the case. And so just to not allow that to become almost like blinders when it comes to your child's mental health.
Amy, tell me about 988. What exactly is the purpose of that?
So 988 is the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They can be accessed through their website. You can call them or you can text them, and they're available 24/7. So we actually share that resource, especially when we're presenting with adolescents, because, they all have their phones. And so it's like, maybe you're feeling a certain way, or maybe you're with a friend who is feeling a certain way and you don't know what to do. You can text 988 and somebody is going to communicate with you, help you through it. They assess the situation and then take whatever steps are needed. So it's a great resource to have, and you don't necessarily have to be suicidal to contact 988. Maybe you're not at that crisis level. It could be 2 a.m. and you're just laying in bed and you're kind of like, your thoughts are spiraling. And it's like, I need to talk to somebody. Just pull out that phone, jump online, shoot a text, or give them a call.
Dr. Amy, thank you so much. You are an inspiration. You are so brave. And thank you for bringing such an important subject to light and making people really understand that this is a big problem in our community, and you're doing everything that you can to help others.
No, thank you for letting me talk about Thomas and what we're doing.
Oh, absolutely. And Dr. Amy mentioned Den 22. We're going to hear more about who they are and what they represent coming up. I'm now joined by Danielle Speck-Hafner. She is the program manager here at Den 22. It is such an impressive place, a place that you don't know much about, but that's going to change because Danielle is here to tell us all about it. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, Christy.
Danielle, what really first inspired you to become involved with Live for Thomas?
So I have 20 plus years experience of working with at-risk youth, and what inspired me to work for Live for Thomas was the ability to give back to my community and to make a lasting difference.
Now, the Den 22 program. Tell me about this program and what it really involves.
So Den 22 is a suicide prevention and awareness program. Our target population are ages 12 to 24 years old. We are open 7 days a week, and we offer a safe place where young kids and adolescents can come and decompress. They can connect with a peer support staff person. They are involved in various activities that we offer throughout the week, and if needed, we offer crisis intervention.
Now, Danielle, how big is the problem? Do you think that people really realize how big of a problem this is with mental health in our community?
I think the problem is much bigger than what people tend to realize or actually can observe, because what we know is people are very good at masking how they're feeling. So they may come and show a smile and make you feel like things on the outside look like everything's okay, but really internally they're dealing with a lot of struggles. And that's where Den 22 can really provide some support. They can show up, they can be seen, heard, and cared for, and know that when they leave, that they can come back and we're there to help them through some hard times.
Well, Danielle, if somebody is interested in becoming involved with Den 22, how do they do it? Do they sign up? Are there any prerequisites that need to be met?
So we do have a volunteer application, and there's a interviewing process that we offer. If you're interested, there's various opportunities, whether it would be through Den 22, Live for Thomas, or Outreach. And I think that one of the stipulations would be a background check. What
changes have you seen in participants that have gone through the Den 22 program?
I think one of the biggest changes that I've been able to witness is when kids come through the door, often we're seeing them at some of their lowest points. Like they're really struggling, and sometimes I feel like they are like lacking hope and not really sure what the future is going to hold for them, if they're even considering a future. And I've watched that turn after time when they leave and they've spent some time here to where they're starting to build their self-worth and their confidence and start setting goals, and not only setting goals but reaching goals with support. And that just has really built their self-esteem up, and knowing that, wait, I can do this and I'm not by myself and there are people who care. And because we're open 7 days a week, we're accessible. This is so needed in our community, and we're here for them, and they know that.
What have you learned from Den 22 that maybe you really didn't expect to learn?
Well, I think what I've learned is that the need in our area is very vast, and there is a lack of resources or programs like Den 22, which is really essential, for the youth to be able to navigate, things that they encounter daily, in today's world. And so I feel like seeing how many kids have come to us that are in great need in such a short period of time that we've been open, I think kind of surprised me.
Well, what do you hope people take away from being part of Den 22?
I hope that when people leave Den 22, that they feel like they have been seen and that they've been heard and valued and cared for, and that they know that they're not alone in the world and that we are here for them and we will meet their needs and support them the best that we can.
And I know that you have a lot of events at Den 22 as well for the participants. What kind of events?
So every Tuesday and Thursday from 5 to 7, we offer a dinner night. We also have various activities throughout the week that we offer to try to engage the guests that come through the door. And it's definitely something that I have put together, so it's a fun activity, but we also encourage some skills to be taught in the background of that. So you're also going to be practicing social skills or coping strategies, anger management, maybe building up your self-confidence, and that could look different. Like if we're playing a board game or we are having dinner together, that's really encouraging conversation and things that may not happen for kids every day. So.
And from the kids that continue to come here and continue to show progress, what kind of response have you heard from the parents?
We have had very positive response from guardians and parents of the guests that come through our door. We've had responses such as, we cannot believe the growth that they've had. We wouldn't know where we would be today without the support of Den 22. Or they identify the different strengths and goals that their son, daughter, grandchild have been able to accomplish that they didn't think they would have been able to previous. So it's been very rewarding.
Danielle, thank you so much. As I've said, this nonprofit is something that is very near and dear to the heart because somebody has either been affected or knows somebody that's been affected, has a loved one that's been affected, and you guys are really changing the narrative. So thank you so much for all that you're doing.
Thank you, Christy. I appreciate it.
Well, mental health awareness is a priority. Coming up next, our mental health talk coordinator joins us next to tell us more. Kelly Zimmerman is the Mental Health Awareness Talk Coordinator, and what she does is she helps these student athletes really understand the seriousness of what suicide prevention means, how to prevent it, and if it does happen, how do they deal with it. Kelly, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Christy.
As a suicide loss survivor, how has working with Live for Thomas, how has working with this foundation impacted you?
Well, it's been a blessing. It's not something I wish I had in my resume as a suicide loss survivor of a family member, but I also know that this is my purpose, and it brings me really a lot of great joy and contentment being able to talk about it. And what I tell my family members all the time is that I get to bring Brian with me to work every single day. And I get to talk about the best parts of him, not just his tragedy, which was such a small part of his life, and try to help somebody else through that. But I get to talk about how much he loved people and music, and he was an athlete and good looking and all the greatest things about him. So that's what I really love about it.
Well, it's such a hard topic. Can you walk us through your role and what really goes into coordinating mental health awareness talks for these student athletes?
My job, one of our missions, is to bring suicide awareness and prevention to these student athletes. Thomas was a student athlete. He played 2 sports. He was an honors student. So we're really trying to change the face of suicide and show these kids that this can happen, unfortunately, to anybody. Suicide does not discriminate against how much money you have, the color of your skin. So my job as the mental health awareness talk coordinator is to bring people with lived experience of either a suicide loss, a suicide attempt, another mental illness, that they can just share their story. It's just a conversation. So my job is to work with the coaches, the athletic directors, the speakers to be able to set up a time, a date. I try to make it as easy as possible for the coaches, so all they have to do is say yes. We show up to their field, we make the conversations quick, meaningful, and leave the kids with something to walk away with.
What kind of impact have you seen from these talks?
Oh gosh, I love when the kids come up afterwards and just show their gratitude towards myself and the speaker of just our vulnerability and how open we are. They love to hear these personal stories. And I really love, I've overheard them say, or they've said it to us, it's such a weight lifted off my shoulders just having this conversation.
Oh, absolutely. And what do you hope changes in the culture of athletes just because of having these conversations with them?
Yeah, it's big. I really wish we could go back to less travel teams, let these kids be kids and play multiple sports and not have so much pressure. They already put so much pressure on themselves to get the good grades, to be the best at their sport. So I wish we would just understand as a society that their brains are still so young and developing, and they don't have to have it all figured out right now.
Now, one of the questions that was presented to me was some people have privacy concerns. Maybe they want to talk about mental health, but they don't want other people to know that they are talking to you about it. So how do you handle that situation?
So I make sure that all the coaches have my information. I stay after each of the talks and kind of in the back for people to, they can just make eye contact with me, and then I can go to the coach and say, hey, can you check on this person for me? Or that student can go to their coach. If they don't feel comfortable, they might come up to me, and we can, for instance, one time a girl and I just took a walk, and we walked away from everybody else, and she was able to just get off her chest of what she was feeling.
And for anyone that wants to get more information, wants to get involved, or wants to learn more about what Live for Thomas really does, how do we get in touch with you?
I would, through email, kelly@liveforthomas.org, through Den22, through Dr. Amy. We're a very close bunch here, so if it gets to one of us, it'll get to all of us.
Kelly, thank you so much for what you do. I mean, this is such a great service to provide for so many people, and it's just so important, and it's tough to talk about. So thank you for paving the way.
You're welcome, and thank you for being here and helping us spread the word.
Absolutely. Now, we have so many people that have asked about Live for Thomas. What does it do? How does it help you? Well, we have several people that are going to talk about their experience and let you know why Live for Thomas could be something beneficial to you or a loved one.
My name is Michaela Ocasio, and I am the Vice President and co-founder of the Live for Thomas Foundation, and I am also Thomas's sister. So being part of the foundation and even co-founding it has made me better able to show up for the people in my life and in my community, and letting them know that they are not alone and that they are heard and that they are seen if they are struggling with their mental health, even silently. And simultaneously, I'm able to reflect on my brother, who he was as a friend, as a person, as a brother, and help prevent any other families from feeling the pain that my family has felt, and encourage these young adults and adolescents that there are brighter days ahead and to not lose hope and to not give up.
My name is Mark Mosa. I'm the head wrestling coach at Northeast High School in Cecil County, Maryland. I became involved with the Live for Thomas Foundation through their mental health awareness talks. This organization has provided myself and my wrestling program with so many great opportunities to discuss mental health and mental health awareness in a safe and nurturing environment. We have benefited greatly from their willingness to work with us and provide a safe opportunity for my athletes to discuss their own mental health and work through it in a constructive way. I think this organization has been an absolute blessing to the community. It provides numerous opportunities for athletes and students alike to feel like their voices can be heard and understood and that someone cares for them. They are an amazing group, and I'm excited to continue working with them in the future.
Hey guys, my name's Chloe, and I've been going to Den 22 Live for Thomas Foundation since August 2024. They have helped me so much in the time that I've been coming here. They've basically completely changed my life. They helped me drop old, really bad coping skills and change them into new ones. They host wonderful activities. I have a brand new friend group that mostly comes here and I met through here. I can come in here any day of the week and there's somebody available to talk to me, and I can come in here any day of the week, and if I don't want to talk, they're just there to support me. They have dinner nights, and that has fed me in times when I had needed it, and they have just generally supported me throughout this entire process and will likely continue to support me.
Hello everybody, my name is Amari Motley, and I have been connected to the Live for Thomas Foundation for the past few years now through sports, and now I am a Den 22 peer lead. Being involved with them has helped me learn how to understand myself and my own trauma of losing my best friend to suicide about 5 years ago. This foundation has given me a support system and an outlet to just help grow and to get past this terrible stage of my life. Being part of the Live for Thomas Foundation has prepared me to be able to help people in need. When people ring that doorbell at the den, we never know what to expect. But because of the Live for Thomas Foundation, we are fully prepared to help them, whether it's feeding them, supporting them emotionally and physically, or just giving them a safe space to hang out and have fun. This is one of the many things that the Live for Thomas Foundation does for our community.
Hi, my name is Angelina Battaglia, and I'm a board member of the Live for Thomas Foundation. I met Thomas in middle school in our social studies class, and he was the funniest guy I have ever met. He always made me laugh and made our classmates laugh, and we always had such an amazing time with him in anything that we did. And the impact that Live for Thomas has had on me is it has created my love for nonprofits. I used to be a hairdresser. I always thought that would be my career, my path in life. But the more I worked with Live for Thomas, the Live for Thomas Foundation, the more I love nonprofits. So now I am currently an executive administrator for another nonprofit in Cecil County. And just doing the work with Live for Thomas and them has really just given me purpose in my life, and seeing the impact that it has created on people and how it has affected people is just such a beautiful thing. And with the Live for Thomas Foundation, we have people coming up thanking us for all the work that we do. So seeing it firsthand is just so beautiful, and I'm really thankful to be a part of that.
Hi, my name's Teddy Johnson. I'm a board member for the Live for Thomas Foundation. I grew up playing baseball and sports and going to school with Thomas. That was probably about since I was 10 years old. The impact the Live for Thomas Foundation's had on me is it's given me the opportunities to help out in the community, helping others to know a little bit more about mental health, so they may not have to go through what I went through or others that knew Thomas went through. It's given me the ability to know more about mental health and be able to apply it to my life and help others. It's helped me know better how to treat others.
As you have seen, Live for Thomas strives to help people that are struggling with mental health issues. If you or someone you know is struggling and you think that you could benefit from all their services or resources, reach out to them at liveforthomas.org. I'm Christy Breslin. See you next month on Harford MagaScene. you.